We're here today with Cora Kennedy, Director of Esports in Illinois Wesleyan University. Cora, thank you so much for your time
Yeah.
and being here with us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And before we talk more about your program, like, can you explain like a bit your trajectory into becoming a esports director?
So it's a bit weird because I didn't come from a professional background. I started my life in esports as a teacher. I taught high school, so it was like ages 14 to 18. I taught high school math and computer science at a high school about an hour south of here. And I started a high school esports program there in 2018. I ran that for 3 years. I was the director and founder of the Illinois High School Esports Association. We had like 140 schools playing and built up a lot through coaching, directing. I've done TOing, production, streams, anything you can name. And then when the opportunity at Wesleyan came along, I couldn't pass it up. And so I got hired at Wesleyan in 2021 for esports as the director of esports, and I've been here ever since.
That's right. And also, you always like touch a lot on like students fitting the culture of your program. Like, what are you looking in those students? Like, apart from their skills,
Yeah.
like in the video game, the computer skills. What other soft skills are you looking for, and how do you know how do you fit your culture basically?
Essentially, my culture here is a lot of students being genuinely kind people. And while I love winning, winning is great. It's not the only thing. And they're here for a degree because Illinois Wesleyan is ranked number 7th in the nation job placement. We are a academically rigorous institution. Our degrees matter. And so school should be priority. So I look for students who are motivated by school and by esports. For esports things, I look for students who want to compete, want to grind, want to grow together, but also want to help others. A lot of my students do mentor their peers. My varsity players quite frequently mentor academy players, and that's not an expectation I put on them. They volunteer for it, and I want to see more of that. I want to see players who want to help those around them. We're not here to make players go pro. I've had players go pro. It's wonderful, but it's not my goal. My goal is college. My goal is esports in college and being a worthwhile experience for students in college, and then everything else beyond that is bonus.
That's great. And do you also and do the players and everyone like in the program do like team bonding activities because they look like like
Um, I see them at dinner frequently in the dining center. They all go together after matches and practices. Our entire Overwatch team has basketball days. They all go play basketball in the rec center, like every Monday. A lot of our teams go to the gym together. They do a lot of classes together. And I can't make players be friends, but it really helps if they are.
yeah. And you mentioned about Illinois Wesleyan being like top seven in the nation in job placement. Academics have to be challenging. What is a day to day of a student? Because with class and practice and competition,
Yeah.
how would that look like?
So generally in a week, what I ask from my students is 10 to 15 hours a week of commitment to the esports program. I
Mhm.
also offer academic support. We have a study room in the facility. I'm a teacher, so I can tutor them. And I make sure students see other academic resources on campus besides just esports. They need to go to office hours, tutoring, and that kind of thing. But I also, for a daily schedule, generally students have class anywhere between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Now, some go earlier, some go later, and that kind of just happens. But overall, that's our schedules. And we have matches and practices starting at 6 p.m. most days. We also do build schedules based upon students. Like if students aren't available Tuesdays at 4 p.m., that's okay. I build our schedule based on what students are available, and I let our coaches handle how schedules look.
Hmm. And also, like if, for example, a student is like struggling in class, what would be the steps to take in order that he catches up? Like you mentioned, you also do tutoring. Uh,
Mhm.
does does a student have access like to other tutors? How would that
Yeah.
work?
So there's a big tutoring network on campus, as well as every professor is available for office hours. You can just email them questions too. And a lot of times your peers can also help. A lot of our players, like our esports program, is not just computer science majors. We have, I think, 22 majors in our program this year out of 55 players, which is pretty big. And so you can find someone else in your major in the program who can help you and tutor you as well.
That's great. And you mentioned 22 majors. So like, how many members in your program? And also, can you talk a bit about like those non-competitive positions that you have and that you are in need, like, and also like for that
Yeah.
students can develop their skill in?
So I have student workers for a lot of things.
Hmm.
Right now, I've hired 14 student workers this year, which is huge. I have a student game manager who oversees all of our scheduling and helps teams set up scrims and that kind of thing. He just basically helps us keep things organized, and he's awesome for that. I have student production managers for our stream production. They have casters who take care of all of our streams. I have student coaches who help our lower teams. I have students who do graphic design, social media management, video editing, and that kind of thing. And then I also have a couple students who do just some other team management aspects.
That's right. That's great. And going back to the job placement,
Yeah.
like for them to graduate, how many internship hours do they need to take, and where can students, especially for international students that are in an F1 student visa, which is
Yeah.
uh, where can an international student be placed if they have the adequate GPA and skills?
Yeah. So our university actually has a lot of international students. We deal with this quite frequently. So the Career Center has a really strong handle on how to develop student interns for a variety of fields. We have student interns across all majors, and every student Wesleyan will leave here doing one of three things: either an internship, a study abroad opportunity, or research. Every student will do one of those three things. Sometimes multiples. And so having them have that opportunity lets them get more exposed to the job force and the workforce beyond just what we do in esports. And for esports, I also have enough connections in the industry to get speakers and mentors for basically any field students would want to get involved in. We work very closely with a production company for a lot of our stuff. I know designers, I know coaches, and pretty much anything an esports students want to get involved in, I know someone I can link them to help them get started.
That's right. And what is like the ratio of like students that want to get into the esports industry and those students that are there to build up a portfolio and then when they graduate from the major, you just go to a workforce?
I
What's that?
right now I have 5 or 6 students, including one senior, our game manager, who are looking to go to esports professionally, building off the experience they have through our program.
Okay, pretty big, pretty big. And any future head coaches or sport directors? A lot of
Um,
universities, building those programs.
I got a couple. I have 1 or 2 in mind who I think would be excellent for it, and I'm trying to train them up in the things that I do and the fun and not so fun things that directors handle to make sure that they're prepared for it.
That's great. And for this upcoming 2024, what would you say is one of your main objectives as a program that you want
I
to accomplish?
I want to keep growing the program and finding players who want to compete. I want to compete more on a national stage because we have teams that are all competitive nationally, but I want to grow those to make all of our teams competitive nationally. But also to see a higher GPA too. I want my students are pretty smart, and I want to keep growing on that.
Hmm. Okay, great. And you being like a teacher, an educator, how big is esports academically in Illinois Wesleyan, and how big do you want it to be? Like, do you want to integrate it as a major, a master's, or as a certificate, or just as a class inside a major? What is your
I'd love
vision?
to stick it in a class in our business administration degree. I think that'd work very well, and I think there's also a discussion to be had in a sociology context about esports. But I'm talking to some professors right now, actually, to get some majors integrated here and there.
Hmm. Okay, and do you have like a lot of faculty that is in esports in Illinois? Like, what does it range if like a school can get like a major or certificate? What does that depend on?
It depends on having a lot of industry experts who want to contribute. It also depends on having folks who care enough about it in the administration to actually make it happen. Because degrees and courses don't pop out of nowhere. You have to have a lot of administrators
Mhm.
who want to make them happen, and I'm lucky here that I have admin who listen to me and will talk to me about these kind of things, and we can have a discussion and make this happen.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. And how do you see the industry evolving in 3 years from now? Just to wrap it up.
Um, Collegiate, I see being more focused on student experience versus competition and just winning. A lot of the student experience outside of that. With the pro space, I hope to see a resurgence of grassroots organizations and things like that because a lot of grassroots stuff is dying. So I want to see a lot of more grassroots organizations get propped up, and I just want to see new games and new things.
Hmm. That's great. And we didn't touch a lot in international students, but like, what are some countries you have right now in the program? Or
Um, in the program, Korea, China, Chile, Brazil, um, Spain. I had an Irish student last year. One German student as well, and then I also have a couple who are from Mexico.
Mexico. Okay. Okay. Right. So a lot of international students.
Yeah. And we're
Okay.
also a home for a lot of international students who want to come to just come play at the facility, like who aren't even in the program, which want to play. They're welcome to. So I have a lot of students from Kazakhstan and Afghanistan who want to play in the facility, and they're more than welcome to. They're happy to be here.
And the facilities, are they open like 24/7, or there's a set
Almost.
time?
We're open 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. We close from 2 a.m. to 8 just to make sure it gets cleaned and also to make sure students go to bed. And so we're open basically 24/7. We also are open on weekends, holidays. It's never closed besides the wee hours of the morning.
Mhm. And in from all the esport programs in the country, okay, how do you differentiate? Uh, how would you say you differentiate and you were able to recruit all the students that you have recruited?
Um, it comes down to student experience. I know all my students individually. They are individual people. They're not a number on a sheet. I pay attention to all of them. I check in with all of them. We offer a meaningful competitive experience for all of them. And while they may not be the best teams in the nation, they like it here. And I want students to like it here. That's my biggest goal is how they're enjoying themselves. So I put a lot of time and effort into making sure students enjoy themselves and see it part of themselves in the program. And that's where I
Mhm.
think we're successful. Also, coaches, like our coaches are wonderful. They're all very kind. They do mentor players a lot. I've seen players grow from Iron to Immortal 1 in a school year.
Okay, so a lot of
So
practice,
a lot of practice, a lot of growth,
good
and a lot of
training.
yes, a lot of training and a lot of support from coaches. They're available constantly.
That is great. That is great. And your community, how would you describe it to
We
students?
are currently statistically the most diverse program in collegiate esports. And I know that for a fact because I wrote the stats. Because I'm also a writer outside of this. We have broadly the most diverse program in collegiate, and we're all friendly. Like it's the environment here is very nice and very kind, and students just walk in and chat with me every day, and I love it. Like, yes, I have things to do a lot of times, but I love talking to them and I love seeing my students, and they are just so kind and wonderful to have. So the
What
concept
edit?
about parents, and for
Yeah,
us,
like
I communicate to them via email at the start of the year as a welcome to all our parents. I have a welcome letter. I also send them our calendar for the year and any sort of invitations for like, hey, we're playing a match this weekend, you can come watch. And I also alert players to stream schedules and things like that, like as early as possible, so they know when things are happening.
yeah, that's great. And when parents approach you, to know more about esports, and they have no knowledge, like how do you approach them and make them feel that their kid is basically gonna be in a safe environment and is gonna be able to develop as a human being?
Having run a high school program, I am very used to having that conversation because I had that conversation very frequently as a teacher. So I'm very well rehearsed on just interested in what esports is, how the student get involved, and a lot of the benefits of what's going on. Because as a program, esports is more than just playing the game. It is a lot about students developing themselves is a part of it, and a lot of the soft skills they develop through esports is huge. And then esports is just a bonus.
That's great, Cora. Okay, and just to wrap this up, like, can you describe the facilities you have on campus? Because usually the students are very interested in that.
Yeah, so we have our own building on campus for esports. I have my own separate building. It is swipe card access. Every student just swipes their ID card to get in. We are open 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. We have 55 high-end computers that students can use. Every varsity player who's a starter in varsity has their own station assigned to them. So they can leave their stuff there. Some players decorate the walls near their station a bit too much. And we also have conference room, dedicated competition room, broadcast booth, study room, lounge, and offices as well. And so it's a space for students to grow and use as they see fit.
Okay, correct. Well, thank you very much for your time. And where can students find your program on social
Students,
media?
students can find us at IWU Esports, all one word, on every platform you can imagine, but we're primarily active on Twitter.
Mhm. Okay. Well, Cora, we stay in touch, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.